Hello, everyone. My name is Simon Snowder, and today we have a very special masterclass with you. The speaker is Vipin Sharma, who I will introduce soon later in more details. So, my name is Simon Snowder. I'll be the host today, and I'm just going to quickly guide you through what you can expect for today's masterclass. So we're going to talk about Dubai real estate. It's a very hot topic, so that's why we are bringing this to you. And you can find more information about previous masterclasses that I've done in the past as well. All kinds of information I like to bring to you, valuable information. And that's because I'm in the financial industry. I like to talk about investments and share them with my audience. So a little bit about myself. So I've been in the industry around 10 years. I'm from the Netherlands, married, two daughters. And if you have any questions about any type of investment, you either can ask them today to Vipin or me. And other masterclasses have done in the past as well about different topics. So I'm not biased. I'm not only talking about one topic. As you can see here, from crypto to inflation, retirement, real estate, we try to bring it all to you. And you can get also, if you want, you will get today a certificate. You will get it from our tech partner, which is Cluely. They will send you an email. You can claim that certificate by putting your details there and download your certificate. So you will be also rewarded for your participation if you want. Now, without not much further ado, I will introduce Vipin to you. Vipin has an impressive CV because before he became a real estate consultant, he has been working in a corporate company world for many big brands such as Barclays, ICI, and he has worked in the US, Dubai, India. He has been active in marketing and other industries. One of the things he has done is that he brought Barclays Premier League to the emerging markets, and he has been involved with stock listings and opening up new companies overseas for the companies that he was working for. And he is a founder also and an entrepreneur before he entered the Dubai real estate market. And I know him as well in person. He's also an honest, reliable, credible, and good person, which is very important in real estate and in general in life as well. So Vipin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you so much for those kind words.
So how are you today? What would you like to start off with?
I'm doing great, Simon. And well, real estate is the talk of the town at the moment. So any topic you touch in real estate would be good enough to start with, though we are focusing towards a special topic, which is about, is this the right time to sell your properties in Dubai for the investors?
Yes, exactly. So what are your thoughts in general about the Dubai's real estate market right now, and also a little bit like what has happened the past year, and then maybe we can talk more about if investors should sell right now or not.
So Dubai, in general, is a very promising market. You can see what has happened in the past 3-4 years. During the pandemic, Dubai did a fabulous job. In fact, the entire UAE did a fabulous job. They recovered from the pandemic very fast. The rules and regulations that were put in were followed by every citizen and the government so well that it stood aside in front of people around the world. And that's why you see a lot of traction in almost all the industries in Dubai and the UAE is much higher than across the world. You see it real estate, you see it hospitality, you see tourism, you see airline industry, you can see logistics, and so on and so forth. And especially after Expo 2020, it started galvanizing its speed. So Dubai in general is anyways a very exciting country and has been attracting the right investments right pool of people coming in, and right organizations in the country. So yeah, that's about Dubai from my side.
Yeah, absolutely. That good point you touched on. You shared some very interesting things that it's for a reason that the real estate market has gained a lot of traction. And I want to also know a little bit more about who do we have here live. So I'm going to launch a poll, launching it right now. So the question is, have you bought as an investor properties? And then in Dubai. So if you could please just take 10 seconds of your time to click yes, no, I'm thinking about it, so that Vipin and I know a little bit more about who is live with us. That would be greatly appreciated. And then we will share this as well, the answer. So we have 69% that has voted. I see, I'm going to give it maybe 5 or 10 more seconds, because maybe some people are not behind their laptop yet, but have logged in. So I'm going to close the poll now, and I'm going to share the results. Vipin, can you see the results?
I can see them, yeah.
Yeah. So are you surprised about this? 11% has bought something that is here. 44% has not bought something, and 44% is thinking about it.
So no, I mean this is perfectly all right. People are still thinking about buying the properties because there is a lot of value in the market at the moment. So they are thinking about it. Some people have already bought. So they must be the people who have bought earlier and they would like to know what's going to happen in future. That's the reason they've joined in this webinar.
Okay, yes. So what do you think? Should anyone consider to sell properties right now?
Yes, this is a good time to sell properties for a specific kind of investors. So investors that have been invested in Dubai for the last 10 years or more. And the second type of investor would be who bought the properties just after the pandemic or during the pandemic, say 2019, 2020, and 2021. These are the two types of investors should look at selling their properties now in specific locations.
Yes. Okay. So those people that have made gains should maybe cash in on them.
So let me explain you why I'm saying this. So the first type of investors, which is who invested 10 years back, these investors maybe bought properties at the peak in the last cycle, and real estate cycle works. So every 10 years the cycle changes. First 5 years is going up, the market is going up. After it's down, it goes up for 5 years, and in the next 5 years it keeps coming down. So it's if you understand, it's around 10 years. Sorry, it's 10 years cycle, and at the top, when people have entered at the top, they have to wait for the market to go down and come up again, so that they can sell the property again. So either it recovers or it goes higher than that. So this is the first investor I'm talking about, first type of investor who should go and immediately sell their properties, because they would have had gains from their rental yield as well. And what happens is, if the property is already 10 years old, there are newer properties that are coming in the market, and people would shift their attention to those properties rather than buying these properties. Apart from that, there are interest rates, mortgage interest rates that are going higher. So people who invested 10 years back, 15 years back should immediately look at selling the properties. Yes, it will depend on which location, what is the location of the property, what is the condition of the property, and so on and so forth. The second type of investor is people who bought in 2019, 20, and 21. That was the time when the market was low, and they invested in a new property. Now, those properties are nearly handing over, or they would have been handed over already. So since the supply is less and demand is more at the moment, this is the time to sell, because some of the places I've seen the return on investment has been pretty high. I mean, people are getting at least 25 to 30% higher than the value of the property. And if you count it, you calculate the internal rate of return, it goes to around 50%, 50 to 55%, because you've not paid the entire money at this point in time. You'll be paying the remaining money in the next 2 years, 3 years.
So Vipin, of course, I'm going to ask you some questions as well that we are getting from the audience. So everybody, there's an option for you to type in your question, and I will ask it to Vipin. So I got the first question here already. It's, how is this market growth any different than the growth we saw just before the 2008 crash?
Yeah. Okay. So 2008 crash, and this market, initially it was similar because the entire world was down because of COVID. But on a later stage, the things changed in this particular market, primarily because of certain concerns that were happening in Russia, Ukraine. There were a lot of investments that were coming in from that part of the world. Apart from that, investors in UK, investors in France, they are looking at investing back in Dubai because of various concerns happening in those countries. You see India as a market which, after the COVID, a lot of people want to invest from India into Dubai, and golden visa has helped a lot of families around the world to come and open up their own companies, or take a property and get a golden visa and stay here for 10 years. Apart from that, I also see various other countries. They are now coming in, to name a few, like Turkey. After the earthquake in Turkey, a lot of investors have started investing their funds here because of the slow market in Turkey. So while in 2008 the entire world was suffering, and it was primarily subprime crisis that started the recession, and it was the Lehman Brothers that collapsed on 12th of September 2008. That was the exact point in time this all started back then. But this is a little different, and what I see now is there is a great awareness amongst the investors who are coming to Dubai. This is the third cycle of real estate of Dubai. Consider that this all started in 2000, in the year 2000. So till 2000, from 2000 to 2008, and then from 2009 to 2018, and then now we are coming back after 2019. So we are in the third cycle already, and we are recovering. So there's a lot of maturity that has come in the market itself, and investors are very well aware of the returns that they get from Dubai, and that's the reason I see Dubai market going to grow because of this interest in this particular region, and the the firm base that Dubai provides to all the investors, real estate investors.
Okay, I got here a question for you, Vipin, from James. Who are the type of buyers here right now, and are these owners, occupiers, investors? Are we looking at end users or investors basically right now?
So currently, if you see, if you are aware, the mortgage rates have gone higher for the last 2 quarters, and because of that, the end users have reduced, or I would say people that were buying properties using mortgage have reduced. People who have cash, they are buying the properties, and a lot of investors have come in from various countries to buy the properties in cash. So I would say it's more about investors who are buying in properties, or people who have the funds to buy the properties in cash.
Okay, and as a follow-up question on that, James is asking, the influx of investors we have seen in the last 2 years, are they inflating the market above the actual demand?
Uh, Not really, because first of all, the market is really sound. Because when people buy in cash, there is not too much of mortgage that is coming in the market, and there's no issue which will happen with the real estate market when there is a dip in the market, because there's nobody to you don't have to go back to the bank and pay your installments regularly if there is a problem in the market and the problem in their job losses or something, because that is controlling the market well. Also, I see a lot of value which people are getting in. So right now, the buyers and sellers both are happy. The buyers that are buying in, they're not buying at a very high value, and they're still seeing that there's a growth in the market. There's appreciation that they're getting, and even sellers have got whatever appreciation they've got for the last 2 3 years or 10 years, which they required. So what I feel is it is not going to affect the market. Dubai government itself is working on a lot of things. Like I mentioned earlier, that there is the golden visa, because of which there is a good amount of scientists, highly qualified professionals that are coming to Dubai. Apart from that, it also is attracting a lot of businessmen from around the world that are coming and setting up their businesses here. Last year we had 3.3 million. Dubai's population was 3.3 million. Now currently we stand at 3.5 million. By 2040, it is expected that we should be growing to 7.8 million. And if you see, there is a big chunk of work which is happening towards the logistical corridor near the Maktoum airport. That is going to also command a lot of business that is going to come in that market. If you see, there are six. That is one of the biggest logistical corridor actually in the world, and this airport would have 6 runways, and that would be connected entirely with the not only with the logistical hub, but with Jebel Ali, with the DIP and the DIC, and so on and so forth. So I expect this demand would keep on going up. Yes, there'll be correction, which happens in all the markets, but this time it's not going to go down drastically the way it used to happen, because the population is growing and the quality of professionals that are shifting to Dubai are way more qualified, way more better than what had happened after 2008.
Yeah, so just to summarize, maybe if the correction comes, which can happen in every market, you have a correction. It will be then like what we saw in COVID. It was such a landslide down, and in 2008, it was such a landslide down. But in 2013 and 14, after the market calmed down, it was more of a steady ladder down, where it just went down for some years. So if the market slows down this time, which can happen, of course, and which looks like there are some signs that it could slow down, you don't expect that there will be like double-digit negative growth.
Yeah, it won't just go down. It would go down slightly, but it starts recovering fast because of the growth in population that we are expecting in Dubai.
Okay, I got it. And now we have another question. We have some more questions for you, so that's why I'm going to move on to some other questions. This is a very important one, which is not only relevant to Dubai, also in Europe and other in the US. A lot of countries in the world, people are struggling with this, which is the cost of living. Now, the question is cost of living, inflation, making it more and more difficult for people to rent and buy, even with higher incomes. So is this influx in investments having a negative impact? So basically, are the residents now suffering from the investors coming in and driving up the prices, and the buying prices and the rent, and making it more expensive for the people that were here originally before all that money came to Dubai?
So the buying prices are going up for a reason. It is not that the developer wants to increase the price of the property. what is happening is the cost of construction is also getting higher. It is a major chunk of buying a land, putting in construction cost, maybe cost of funding the project. All these things come in picture when any project is being launched. So because of that, the property prices are going higher. Yes, it impacts a bit when a lot of investors are coming in and buying properties. It is a seller's market at the moment because there is more demand and less supply. But when the more inventory is getting ready, the market would change. So when you see another 1.5 years time, 2 years time, there's more supply in the market. When there's more supply in the market, obviously the demand would be going down, and that's where the prices would start getting controlled. So we have to, and it happens everywhere. If you see Hong Kong, it is, say, probably 3 to 4 times expensive than Dubai. If you say New York, it might be double as expensive as Dubai when it comes to real estate. Yeah, so it is driving the prices a little higher, but at the same time, organizations are coming in with good packages for employees that they are hiring in. They are also considerate about taking the employee satisfaction to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would like to have developers that focus on affordable housing only. That would be great. So Vipin, I have here another question for you, which is from Richard. Is this a right time to buy, or should we wait until when?
So yeah, so it's a subjective question. You can buy definitely, but you have to identify where. First of all, what is your objective of buying? Are you an investor, or are you an end user? Do you want a ready property, or do you want an off-plan property? And then what is your long-term goal on that particular property, and so on and so forth. Once I get to know these things, I can always guide you. If you're an investor, look for a location which is coming up, which is not overpriced at the moment. You buy in that particular place, but look at the developer, look at the exact location of the project, look at the master plan of the country. Where is the development going? What are the things coming around it? There's a few things that you need to check with that, because if you're buying an off-plan property, for example, considering the points that I've mentioned, then there's a great possibility there's a capital appreciation that you'll get. So you can go for that kind of property. But if you are an end user, there are only very limited locations that you can buy. So you have to make me aware about what are your exact objectives, and then I can answer more in detail if you can.
Yeah, I'm totally with you, Vipin, because it's like, the thing is that if you're going to be an end user, for example, you want certain things, like you want, for example, you want to be having a view, you want to have a certain amount of space. If you have a family, you're looking at, like, is there a playground nearby or a park? And then if you're an investor, I mean, at least, like, if I look at something, I'll be like, how much money will I make? And I don't really care about much more. So it's more of a financial calculation. I'm not going to live in it. I don't care too much about the view. I just want high rental, good asset appreciation, and a proper exit strategy. So I'm with you, Vipin, that you cannot just make quick assumptions unless you have more information about what the person needs, and therefore you can potentially guide them better. Correct?
Yeah. So I would say if you want to buy, you can definitely buy. It's a good time to buy also, but depending which location and what project, you have to research that really well, and then you can go for it, because this market is very strong. All the fundamentals of this market are at its place, and that's why you see a lot of investors putting in their money here, because they've been investing around the world. They will not put in their money in this market till the time they are confident about the market and the dynamics it's providing. So I guess it's good to go.
Yeah. So do you think there's areas where you can find value for investors and residents, people are end users, where they can get value for money in terms of that they don't have to pay too much, but they can get a good living space, and for investors where they can get good ROIs if they invest in the market?
Correct, correct. There's some intangible things that are attached to people who want to move into the properties. Would be like, uh, do they have a community which is safe for kids? Do they have swimming pools? Do they have play areas? Do they have say barbecue pits, and so on and so forth? So and how far is it from a metro station, and so on and so forth? So all these things come into play.
Yeah. Okay. So a question that I have for you is, why is selling properties as important or equally important as buying properties as an investor?
Well, it is very important because you have to manage your portfolio. If you are sell, if you have to sell your property at the right time. Like for example, I'm recommending few of the investors to sell your property at the moment, because you have already gained the max out of that property. So when you've gained maximum out of that property, it's become old, and you cannot get more capital appreciation in that property. The rental would give you the same yield. What you can do is you can take the money out and then buy a new property at the same time. So it gives you, it maximizes your return. It provides you liquidity, okay, and it helps you reorganize your portfolio. So from time to time, you should pull out from certain properties. You sell those properties of course, after evaluating on all these parameters, and then invest into the new projects they're coming up, or there's already a project which is ready and which is anticipated to give a great return on investment. So that's what you should do.
Yeah. So I want to also launch another poll which I'm launching now. So the question is, have you ever sold properties before in Dubai? So the previous question was if you own them right now, but maybe there are people here that has also sold before, and so that will be helpful for Vipin and I to know a little bit more about that. So I have almost 50%. 50% has voted already. I'm going to let it take a little bit longer because, yeah, almost 60% has voted. So I will wait a little bit, a couple of more seconds, and then I will close the poll. Yeah. Close. Share. So can you see the results, Vipin?
Yes, I can see the results. So there are 90%, 75% people who have not sold their properties as yet. Maybe they don't own it at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And but 25%, which shows that people that are here have sold before, but don't own. So there's also a greater group that actually had a property at a certain time in Dubai, but not anymore, compared to the people that have a property right now in Dubai.
Okay, perfect. So maybe amongst this 75%, maybe the people who have not sold it as yet, they should evaluate if they have a property and they're getting a good return on investment, they should consider selling it.
Yeah. So I have here a follow-up question from Richard, who asked the previous question as well about, is this the right time to buy or should we wait until when? His question is, will the expected global recession impact real estate in Dubai?
See, if there's a recession around the world, it definitely affects Dubai, but it doesn't affect immediately when the world starts feeling the heat. But especially if it starts in America or if it starts in Europe, it takes some time for this market to start feeling the heat. But at the same time, what happens is Dubai is a very small market. Okay, we are only 3.5 million people living in here. So what happens is, if some countries want to exit and want to invest in some other country, or they want to start up a new business, they look at certain places which provide them the ecosystem. So how's the country doing economically, in terms of economics? How's the growth of the population? What is the rate of interest in the country? What is the inflation? So people consider all these parameters before taking a call. How's the GDP for the last 1 year, 2 years? After they look into these things, they move from those markets that are not helping them. So certain developed markets, I see a lot of influx of investors coming in from other markets to the Dubai market when the recession is there, because the cost of money there is different, and the money that can buy products here or properties here is equivalent to what it used to be in that particular market. So you can buy the properties here, and when the market improves, you can go back to your country and utilize that fund, or you can be invested in this country. To come back to your question, yes, it can impact, but it takes time for them to impact. Plus, the dynamics in these two countries are completely different. So this market keeps going on. Those markets have major issues.
Yeah. And if more people have questions, feel free to ask us, because this is for you. We're doing this for you. So if you have any questions, just type it, and it will be answered. I have another question for you, Vipin. So why is timing the market almost impossible with real estate?
So there are a lot of factors behind it. I mean, you cannot control the things that are happening around the world. There are geopolitical issues happening, and you also see a lot of country-related issues in certain geographies. So that impacts in general the markets in the world. And when that happens, there's a fear that comes in a lot of investors. You see all that happening in stock markets. You start seeing happening in manufacturing and so on and so forth. So it is you cannot predict exactly when that is going to happen. But if I'll go back to the cycle of a particular market, it is around 10 to 12 years a market takes to come back to the same place. Of course, there's a low which is higher from the last low in the last cycle. Okay, so there's always a growth in that particular market that keeps happening, or in general in the world. But in this particular case, if I want to come back to the question, in these 10 years, when the market is low, investors should get in. Investors should get in, analyze what property makes sense for them, what is helping them meet their objectives, and you should invest in that particular point in time. If I were to say 2019-20 was a great time to invest for the investors, because then you would have got the return on investment much faster. And this is the second type of investor I'm telling them to, or I'm suggesting them to sell their properties now, because they have got a growth of say 35% already, and internal rate of return of around 55%, which is humongous. So for example, if the property they bought in around 1.4 million, and they had just paid around 700,000 at the moment, and they are selling that property at around 2.4 million. So imagine the kind of return they've got. They've nearly got 1.1 million on the top of the value of the property, as well as they just invested 700,000. So at the end of the day, what they're getting is a great return. So enter into the market when the market is going down, especially for investors. This is I'm talking about the investors, and you keep monitoring the market. Next 3-4 years is a good time to sell. Maybe 5 years is a good time to sell. If you want to sell it immediately in a short term, but if you want to keep it, you can keep the entire cycle. you can keep it for the next 10 or 12 years till the time it's coming back to its high again. And in the meantime, you can have the rental returns, which you can invest in somewhere else.
Yeah, and I have another question for you, Vipin. It's is to what extent is the Dubai real estate market controlled by government controlling supply? What Richard is asking you.
So the government is very much aware of what is happening in the market. They do not allow projects to be launched one after the other. It is a big process when you have to submit all your documents about the project that you're going to launch, where you're going to launch, what are the plans around it. And once that goes into the process, they go through each and every plans in detail. After doing all that research, they visit the site and then they approve over a period of time, and then they don't allow you to launch till a particular time. I know because I was involved in a project last year, which was launched last year, and it took, after the announcement by the developer, it took 8 months for all the approvals to come from the government to launch it, because there is only limited amount of apartments or townhouses or villas the government is allowing to be launched in that particular market. Otherwise, there will be too much of supply in the market.
Okay, that I did not know that. That's very good to know. So if, for example, in one area they will count what is happening, and they will not everybody. Let's say you have 10 developers there, and there will be no chance that everybody will launch at the same day because the Dubai government will be like, not happening.
Definitely not. So Dubai government is very strong. They have learned this in the past 20 years. Initially, when the real estate market had started at the beginning of 2000, between 2000, 2005, 2008, there were a lot of launches like that that had happened. But after the introduction of RERA and after the introduction of the rules, the new rules in Dubai Land Department, it is a very systematic way that the government approaches the launches of these projects.
Yeah, so James, I have another question from James for you, Vipin. His question is, what is your expected outlook on some of the more established communities here in Dubai, such as the Greens, Springs, Meadows, Arabian Ranches, compared to some of the newer developments we are seeing coming out in the next 4 to 5 years? Also, maybe the ones that have been launched already, like Dubai South. So, what are your thoughts on this?
So greens and views, meadows, springs, lakes, amazing development. But it depends when you have invested in that. If you invested recently, obviously there's not the time to sell. You have to wait for the next cycle to see the prices going up and then sell it. However, I don't see there's a major spike coming up in these places. I'll tell you, because these are 20 years old, 20 to 22 years old projects, and similar projects have been launched. Like if I were to compare greens, views, lakes, springs and meadows, I can compare it with Dubai. Dubai is the version 2 of greens and views and meadows. Whatever amenities were not there in greens and views and meadows and lakes and all, it has been included in the new version. You have the mall there, you have a big park there, you have jogging tracks there, you have cycling tracks there, you have basketball, you have tennis, you have golf course there, you have apartments, you have villas, you have got everything there, and the metro is going to come on that close to that particular location as well. You have business hubs there, and so on and so forth. So people would rather prefer those kind of places as compared to these places. So to my mind, if you bought this property 5 years back or 10 years back, this is the time, this is the peak of these areas. You should sell the property and you should look for a new project to get in.
Okay, that was very useful. And I have here another question from Ali for you, Vipin. So the question is, Middle East investments are worldwide. With the current change in dynamics of the market, specifically banking sector banks are suffering in Europe and US. Will this affect our real estate market in Dubai? He's referring to, and force it to slow down and real estate markets to reduce price in square feet, hence buying of properties by investors should be put on hold or not. What are your thoughts on this?
So buying the property, you have to, first of all, you have to do a proper research on the property that you want to buy, and you have to go to the right consultant who knows the market well and who can calculate everything for you. So for argument's sake, if you're buying an off-plan property which has just been launched in Dubai Hills versus a property which is ready in a place which was handed over 1 year back, which property you should buy in and what is the return on investment you're going to get. If you put all this and try and calculate the rate of return on these two properties, you'll get to know that which one is safer for you to buy, and what is the risk if you buy a property which is either under construction or a ready property. Like a ready property would always be commanding a higher value because it is ready. You can just start moving, or you can have somebody to start renting it out. An off-plan property is still under construction. You've not put the entire money. Probably it might have a post-handover plan. So maybe you've just provided 50%, 60% of your money, and the property comes in your hand. So coming back to the question, if the market goes bad over a period of time, you have to look at which property gives you better or gives you lesser, where you can mitigate the risk more, is what you should prefer. So you have to have comparison between those two projects which you're looking at, and then go for that particular project which is less riskier for you. And then what happens is this market will again come back. So if I quote, say people in 2014, 15 till 17, there's some projects like, for example, some new sectors in Jumeirah Park. People who had bought properties in 4.5 million, even at the time when the market was at the peak. Later on, they saw a lot of distress coming in from 2018-19, and they were considering selling the properties at that point in time. People who waited for some time, they got the return on investment now, which is in 2023. So you have to have patience. It's a long-term goal of investing in these kind of properties, and wait till the right time to sell it. The market is very strong. The fundamentals are very strong in Dubai. So it is not going to happen that your property which you bought for, say, 2 million, is going to become, say, 700,000. Never. It is not going to happen. It might go down to, say, 1.7, maybe 1.6, then start recovering fast, and it will cross 2.5, 2.6, and maybe it will touch 3 million in the next cycle. And there are many examples like that. I've seen a lot of examples like this. Some people sold properties in Dubai Hills. Say, consider some people sold maple townhouses in Dubai Hills at even 1.8 million, 4-bedroom townhouses at 1.8 million. Now they are being sold for 3.9 million. And it is just in a span of 2 to 3 years. So what is important is to have patience and select the property correctly, and do your risk analysis, which property is mitigating your risk more, and then go for it.
Yes, that is definitely a good one. If you decide on the right investment to start with, then automatically your risk is mitigated more, and also your uplift will be better when the market has like a positive run. So that's a great one to share with us.
Also to have trust in the market and the government here. Have faith in the systems here. Have faith in the in the developers that are developing here, they have done their research, they've done their due diligence before launching the properties here.
Yeah. Do you think that, of course, there's also there's some developers in the market right now that are new, and so it should be. I mean, I think you're referring to the big names like the Amar and the Nephew. Yeah.
Definitely. So as I started the meeting, when I started the the session, I had told there are few things, fundamentals of real estate. Number one, developer. Number two, so developer. When you say developer, of course it has to be a good name, big name. But how many projects they have delivered? What is the status of their projects? Okay. Number two, what is the location of the project? And what is the government's plan in that particular locality where the project is? Okay. And number four is what time you're buying in. Is the rate at the peak, or is the rate still to catch up with the peak of say 2008 and 2015? If it is still to catch that rate, of course you should go and buy in those places. So yeah, this is what I meant.
Yes, absolutely. I know that you meant it well. I'm just making sure that people also get to hear that again from you. And Vipin, for people that are end users,